We'll start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we open our meeting, we'll have bid opening for the construction of the new salt storage facility. We have two bids here, and first one is Hamilton Hunter Builders. I'll let you. Okay.
Okay, sure, yeah.
And this is for the construction of the facility.
Yeah, we've already bought the material, right?
Holy smokes, I'm not smart enough to read it.
That's okay, we'll take it under advisement. Let Brandon work.
Brandon figured out.
There should be a Form 96.
Oh, okay.
That is 496 there.
Oh, there it is.
So somewhere.
185, 412. That sounds about right. Okay, I move we take it under advisement.
Second. Well, we'll take them both under. Stand by a second. All right, I have a bid from, I'm gonna have to read it off the Form 96 because they cut. DT Construction Services of Silver Lake, Indiana. They did submit a Form 96, and their bid is $182,609. Okay, so
Now I move we take them both under advisement.
I'll second that.
Okay, you got a motion and a second. Further discussion? Now, I'm going to recuse myself, for the Hamilton Hunter is a neighbor that I have at the lake. So,
Okay.
all those in favor say aye.
All right.
All those opposed, say. Gotcha.
Well, that looked good.
When you're going to change, just let us know. Okay? Give us a little sign or something. Brandon, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll close the bid opening and we'll start our regular meeting. First thing we have Cody Fry and Brittany Byerly.
Well, as you know, the commissioners have supported us in doing the corporate challenge, fielding a team for competitive events with other area businesses, and for the first time in 6 years, we placed first overall. So along with this trophy, we wanted to offer it back to all of you to store in your office, since you guys support us in it, and we wouldn't have been able to complete
Thank you.
the events without your support in it.
Well, congratulations.
Great job.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Great job. Did anybody drink champagne out of there?
You have to talk to Judge Rensler about that.
Yeah.
Thank
I think
you.
you've said everything I need to know. Great job, you guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Our attorney, Matt Shipman.
I don't have anything to report, other than I did talk to Sheriff briefly about that ordinance, and I think that they're going to talk about it. I need a little time to
Okay.
research that and get back to you.
Okay, Sheriff Gatton, ordinance 2009-08, discussion.
Thank you. Coming before you from the ordinance 2009-8, which is an ordinance requiring the restraint of a dog and banning the disturbance of the peace by a domesticated animal. It was set up with a structure for paying of fines on first, second, and continue citations, but there has not been listed, which I think there should, on where the money should go, be paid and deposited within the county, which I'm requesting that you let Attorney Shipman take it under advisement. advisement to look at and advise which direction and whether it needs to be written in here to go further forward.
Okay. Any questions for the sheriff?
Not this time. When will you be back?
When he advises me, he's ready.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
The issue is whether we need to redo the ordinance, I think, or whether we can, because it doesn't specifically say. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You usually don't have anything that easy.
Jason, did you have anything on that?
Hi, Jason.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Nathan Bilger for some plat approvals.
Good afternoon. Have two plats for your consideration. Both were approved by the County Plan Commission at their meeting in August. First one is to be called Schroeder's Addition. And this is up on, I forget which lake. It is a replat, partial replat of Pfeiffer's Addition, lots 3 and part of 4, combining those lot 3 with part of 4 into one new lot. That doesn't include any additional right-of-way being dedicated because it was already dedicated as part of the previous plat. So, if you have questions on that?
That was subject to staff approval, secondary staff approval?
Yes.
Okay.
Move we approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
Smart ass.
And then the second one is for a plat, another one-lot plat to be called Holden Hills. This is off of County Road 650 North, just south of Loon Lake. Reason for platting in this case is that they did have previous splits off the property, and so that necessitates the platting process. And this was approved by Plan Commission at the last meeting. And yes, secondary plat approval was delegated to staff as well.
Whoops. A motion we approve Holden Hills.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve Holden Hills.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
And while you're signing that, I sent an email to you letting you know that there was a request for a street name for the new cul-de-sac out at Park 30, and what they're proposing is Innovation Court, I believe, or Innovation Way, but Court would be appropriate. Did you have any opposition to that or other thoughts? Typically what happens is new street names are approved when you approve the plat, but given that this is relatively high profile in a industrial park, wanted to run it by you guys first.
I think that, I don't know if I relayed this to you or not, but my only concern is then no other roads in the area are Innovation anything.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Innovation is not used in Whitley County. We do have Innovation Boulevard in Allen County.
Okay.
Off of Ludwig
Okay.
Road. But,
Thank you.
That's the closest one.
So you're good with it?
I'm okay with it, if you guys are.
Do we need a motion?
No.
I'll make a motion we
Don't we-
approve Innovation.
You'll approve it in a plat.
Yeah, that's, sorry, I was going to say that too.
Court. Oh.
I just need to give them direction as to the street name
Okay.
to put on the plat itself.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Thank you. And my magic
Ben.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have Brandon Forrester for the Highway Department update. Brandon is our county engineer and highway director.
One of the things that we're working on is our application for the Community Crossings Matching Grant Program. I have, because of the way it's set up, I actually have 7 projects that I'm applying for. You can only have 10 road segments per project. It's tedious, but that's what the way it's set up, that's what we've got to do. But part of that process, one of the things that I need to submit with the application is a commitment of funds. And technically, it needs to be signed by chairman of the commissioners or the chairman of the council or the county fiscal agent. But I just prepared basically the same commitment that we did last year, and I put all 3. I think that shows a little more commitment. So
Okay.
if you all would consider allowing George to sign this on your behalf, I'd appreciate that.
You will physically have the money, though, the matching money?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're not going to be searching for the money, it's there.
No. It's
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
plan and the budget that I presented for
Perfect.
2019.
Really appreciate you going for this, because it's,
Now, each one of those projects you mentioned, it's all part of the same plan.
It's all part of the same plan, yes. It's just I was limited to 10 segments per project. That's,
Okay.
I was told that some communities, like for each block of a road, they submitted a separate project.
wow.
Yeah. Which actually, in our GIS, we have 130 segments. Fortunately, they're combined in NDOT's system, so instead of 13 projects, I only have to submit 7.
And I got lost. Do you want the motion to say that the chairman will sign?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'd make a motion that we approve the matching funds for the Community Crossings Grant and allow the chairman to sign the paper.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion, we've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Okay, next I have it's a right-of-way permit. Bernie Gump, who is in the audience, is requesting to bore basically a water line under the road, 350 East, to allow for water service to property that he has on the other side of the road. We've had these kind of requests before, and I have my canned statement that public right-of-way is not a place for private utilities, you know, and I've spoken with Bernie, explained to him my position, that I'm looking out for him. If somebody comes through with new utilities, you know, his stuff's not gonna get located, and he's done his homework. He's spoken with the boring contractor and the utility companies, and so while I do not have an OK BCF on here because I'm sticking to my principle, but I understand.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate his effort.
Yeah.
So, you know, here's the request. I did also explain that that we would want him to sign this covenant to indemnify and hold harmless.
That's why I thought we had.
The form that come from Scott, to do with well variances. So, this is the first time I've met him, so that's not done, but, you know, if you wanna, it needs to be notarized, but I'm pretty sure we have notary around here somewhere. At least as far as I know, it used to be. So if you, you know, wanna approve that with the covenant being signed, that'd be fine.
I move we approve it.
I second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to approve the right-of-way permit for a boring underneath 350 East, with, subject to the signing of the hold harmless.
You got any more comments to make about it or anything?
No.
Okay, all those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you.
While you're signing that, I don't have much more. We are done strip sealing for the year. If you count it, center line miles, we did at least 99. Part of that, 2 of those miles, a little over 2 miles, was down on 400 East and 1,000 South, between 900 South and 1,000, and Rayburn 400. Those were our reconstruction roads for the year. We double sealed those. So if you count those double, we're at 101, and give or take. Part of that was some wedge and level on Whitley Road between 2 and 300 South, on 250 West between Lincoln Way and Loon Lake, and Airport between Plum City Limits and 500 North, which those were subsequently chip sealed. What we did was a 3/4 inch wedge and level and kind of smoothed them up a little bit. But we're done with that with the season. Distributors cleaned up and parked, and we're moving on to some patching, brushing, getting ready to get going on replacing some culverts. We've still got some material left, and if we get the community crossings project, there's a lot of culverts that need to be looked at in that neighborhood, those neighborhoods. So we started doing some berming, because we still are looking at possibly 80 miles of chip seal next year. So we'll be doing some berming, and we talked about doing some berming that we missed 2 years ago because we just didn't have time. We chip sealed a few roads that we just wanted to save, and it'd probably be a good idea to go back and get those bermed also. Other than that, doesn't sound like much, but we got plenty to do.
Yeah.
So.
Tell the guys and the gals that we really appreciate it. They've done a great job this summer. They really have done a great job.
Yep.
It's appreciated, not just by us, by the
told
public.
them that, and I will let them know
Yeah.
that you're
Yeah.
telling
Yeah.
them that.
Yeah.
That used to be our big thing, was the road complaints that we had, and very seldom anymore. Well, thank you.
Well, yeah. Hey, we're doing what we can, and you can't make everybody happy. Friday, it was happy go home time, and a lady showed up in the parking lot, and she wasn't happy because we trimmed some of her trees back and too far, in her opinion, and we explained, you know, half hour later, we got to start our weekend, but it's one of those things. It's mostly good.
Good. Well, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute.
Did you want me to sign this now?
If you would.
Do we have other,
Oh, yes.
we've got some more as far as right-of-ways.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, first one we have is County Road 400 North and County Road 250 East, and that is CenturyLink is boring under 400 North.
Okay. Looks like it has been approved by Brandon.
Yeah, move we approve it.
Second.
Got a motion, we've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. And Brandon has approved these.
Brandon, did you bring the agreement that you need?
I did, yes. That was prepared by previous county
Yeah,
attorney. You want to do
I
that
just wanted to make sure we didn't
That's
bring it.
okay. If you want it done now, we can notarize it now.
while he's here, if you don't mind? You want to do that? Sure. Did you have one right away from
Well, I've got one more right-of-way permit. Okay, the next one I have is County Road 650 South, 650 West, and it's providing internet service to 3120, and it's from CenturyLink also.
Move we approve it.
Second. Got a motion to approve, we got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. Thank you.
How much money did we throw at this deal here? Do you remember?
500.
What was it?
Okay, next up, we have on the agenda Callie Montz from Safe Place.
This is Callie, but I'm Jan Williams.
Jan?
I am the Director of Youth Services Bureau, and so we've got some information to share. So we are here to talk about an exciting collaboration that we are having in Whitley County. So we've been working for probably the last 9 months with superintendent from Consolidated Schools, with the Bowen Center, with PCS. We've been providing the Safe Place program, Safe Place and Host Home program in Huntington County since 1990. And it's a national program that provides crisis interventions for youth. And so we started in Whitley, we started in Wabash County in 2013, and so we were approached to see if Whitley County needed similar services. So I came in and started talking to those to provide services here and that work with the kids and said, this is what we can offer, are you interested? And they jumped on the opportunity. So briefly, Safe Place is a national program that provides the network of businesses. So hopefully throughout your travel, you'll see these yellow Safe Place signs on businesses. And so these are businesses that open up their facilities to youth in crisis. So can be they're on a violent date, they're thinking of running away, they're in a family situation, they're being followed, simple as being locked out of their house, whatever it may be. So the businesses themselves provide a quick, immediate access to service. So then they contact us, the sites agree to have a place where the youth can be, not in the main lobby, obviously at McDonald's or wherever it may be. If it's something as simple as I need to use a phone, I lock myself out, whatever it may be, they can deal with it right then, but 9 times out of 10, they then contact Callie, who's the coordinator of the program, and then we talk to the person on the phone, we then come out to assess the situation. So we work very closely with law enforcement, with Department of Child Service to ensure, obviously we're mandatory reporters like everyone else, so if it is a legal issue or a Department of Child Service issue, we contact them immediately. We can continue to provide services with them as well. If they cannot safely go home, that's where our host home program falls in. So our host home is, again, a national program, and it provides shelter. That program is designed for runaway and homeless youth prevention. So the host home actually are homes that we vet through criminal history home inspections, very similar to the foster parent criteria, to provide a youth up to 21 days of shelter care. Because we have to have a shelter component for our Safe Place program, we utilize a host home. Like I said, we've been doing it in Huntington County since '90. I've been there since '95. We've been doing it in Wabash County since 2013. So the programs are proven to be effective. We are just now at the spot of getting our sites up, and we have 12 right now. But as we've been going through the community, oftentimes what we've heard, especially in Whitley County, is, have you talked to Bowen Center? Yes. Have you talked to DCS? Yes. Have you talked to the county commissioner? No. So now we're here, because we didn't put you in the loop, sorry. And so what we want to do, educate you on what the programs are, what we're asking the sites to do, and that's what you have is the manual. It just simply states that they will have the person trained at all times while they're open. If they are not open 24 hours, the sign actually says, please call, and it has our number. When I started in '95, kids did not have cell phones, and so the sites were used a lot more than they're used now. Now even elementary kids have cell phones. And so a lot of our calls come directly through the cell phone crisis line or one of the schools. They're our #1 reporters, not only in Huntington County, but Wabash County as well. So that's why it's important that we have the schools on. We learned our mistake when we expanded to Wabash County. They too are like Whitley County, they have three corporations. Huntington, we only have one. So we thought, okay, we're gonna go. And so in Wabash, we attempted to do all three at the same time, and that did not go very well. And so in Whitley County, we're learning from our mistakes that we did in Wabash. So we are working with Whitley Consolidated. Our goal is in the next year or so to hit both the other corporations, so all of your county will be served with the Safe Place Host Home program. So what we want you to be aware of the program, answer any questions. We will be contacting the Sheriff's Department to see if their site could be a Safe Place site. We've already spoken with the mayor to see the city building to be a Safe Place site. The whole purpose of the sites, again, they are not often used, but it's just to, again, show that that business is supportive of youth in your community, and also in case there is a youth that goes in to know, what do I need to do? We'll look for, we have an advisory group that we've established here, because we geographically will look at maps and say, okay, that gas station would be good, and then your law enforcement will say, no, stay away from that one. Well, we wouldn't have done that. Or where do your kids hang out? So that's where probation, DCS, they got involved. We're also going to be working very closely with your juvenile detention alternative to see how this program can fit into what they're already doing. How it's happened. Huntington County does not have a juvenile detention alternative initiative yet. We will, I'm sure, after the first of the year with the new judge. But in Wabash County, what they do, they've actually had a law enforcement officer call. He was at a family situation where grandma was raising her granddaughter. There was nothing that law enforcement could do. They were just at each other's throat. And so they actually gave the card to mom and said, grandma, and said, call this number. They contacted us. We then were able to mediate. We provided some respite care. It ended up, the girl still had to be 2 days later when she went back home, got placed in detention because she decided to run away after all. But we were able to provide that alternative and work very closely with law enforcement. So that's how the process works. But we just want you to be aware. We would like to be able to say that we have your blessing. So when we go to county buildings and say, hey, would you be a Safe Place site, that I can say that we have your support on that, because that's always the question. Is your community, we have found, which is very positive, is a very close-knit, and you have your rules and regulations in place, and they'll say, well, did you talk to? Yes, we did. Did you talk to? Yes. So we're working very closely in collaboration with all your departments. So we're not this program coming into your county and say, da-da-da, we're here to save the day. We really are working to help enhance the services that you have in place. So, have any questions? In your packet, you have the fact sheet on what a host home and Safe Place are, and Callie's card. These are the cards that we use in all 3 counties. So we wanted to distinguish which one were Whitley counties. When I took the advisory group meeting, I said, well, in Wabash County, this is an example of what Wabash said. Wabash County, a safe place for kids, and they're like, why reinvent the wheel? We care for kids too. So that was the advisory group's like suggestion to have the card say Whitley County, a safe place for kids. So we'll do whatever we need to do in our county. The question always comes up about funding. As of October, we have been under a federal grant for 2 years. We lost that federal grant because the federal guidelines changed. They no longer feel our rural kids who are couch surfers or homeless. They would rather, their definition are those kids that are under viaducts or sleeping in a sleeping bag. So after 2 years of fighting and arguing and appealing and protesting, and I lost. So we lost our 3rd year. So as of now, all the funding for the program YSB in Huntington County is absorbing. I have started talking conversations in your community about what will it take. I can't tell you what it's going to be, what it's costing to come to here, because we've always had 100% of her time and the cost covered. So we'll be doing it very close. This is what's taking, this is what we're doing. We did have, what's the name of the group?
Jingos.
They did provide a startup money so we can purchase all the Safe Place sites and the manuals and the training for the sites. Our goal is to have 50 sites in Whitley County. So they underwrote that. So questions, comments, concerns?
I don't understand why all the school systems in Wabash County, why that didn't go over. What am I missing here?
Okay, so what we do is we actually go to all of the schools. That's how the kids learn about the program. We go to the schools, we do convocations, we go to classrooms, we go to youth groups, we go to wherever the kids hang out and give them that information. So that's a lot of time getting a staff person to go talk to all of your schools if we go that way. Then also when the crisis calls start coming in, until we see where we're at time-wise and what it's taking in Whitley County to respond to a call. Right now it's Callie. And so we need to make sure where we're at and we wanted to ensure that once we start telling the kids to start calling the Safe Place number, that we have everything in place, that we have host homes ready, we have people trained, we know how to respond, that we work through all of your communities' policies and procedures, because you're a little different than in Huntington County. So we wanted to ensure that we had all that in place. So in Wabash, we tried to do all 3 corporations. All 3 corporations had a little different on how we had to do things, and the amount of kids that we saw in all 3 corporations, it was a very slow rollout of the program, and it really wasn't very effective because we get information from one community, one part of the county, but we just didn't do a very good job, we felt, in making sure that we had all of our safety nets in place and then start expanding to the others. So it shouldn't be long. We just didn't want to offer this and have a kid call us from a very tip of your county that we're not ready to serve yet and not be able to serve them safely. Because our response time is supposed to be very quickly. So we just wanted to ensure that we had everything in place so we don't have a kid in crisis call us and we're not ready to respond to that, because that would be our worst fear.
Have you even contacted Smith Green or Whitco?
No, not yet.
Then you really can't call it Whitley County. It's really Columbia City.
Correct?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And like I say, our goal is to get those other 2 on very quickly. We just wanted to get to your biggest corporation first, so hopefully by the end of the year or the first part of next year, we will have the other 2 on board.
Do you find that you get a lot of kids involved in this, or is it, I guess I'm curious how many that you work with?
Yeah, so I think since January of this year, we have served around 80 kids in Huntington and Wabash.
Really?
So it is a pretty substantial number. And so now continuing to work in the Whitley County, hopefully those numbers will increase as well.
One of the things too we can also offer through this program, and that's one of the things that the superintendent was happy about, and so with DCS, is the fact that we can come in and offer some preventative services. So we can come in and do some skills training. We can come in and do suicide prevention training. We can come in and do human trafficking training. There's things that we can do to come into the school corporation that we've been doing forever in Huntington. And we have trainers involved in those areas that will also not only serve as an outreach, because what we're learning in Huntington, what we've had in Huntington, these kids have grown up. I mean, we've been doing it since '90, so these kids have heard about Safe Place from the time they were in school, and now they're adults. And so in Huntington County, Safe Place, oh yeah, I know what that is. In Wabash County, we're just getting to that, because it really takes the kids saying, yeah, I called that number, and this, they really did do what they said. So we're just now getting the calls to start coming in more frequently in Wabash. Again, it's the school counselors that call us, it's a probation officer, it's law enforcement, they call us, and it'll be the same way we assume with Whitley. It will be the providers who call us, and then it'll be the kids' word of mouth that say, yeah, I called that number, and they really were there. They really did know. So it's going to be very slow, we assume, but we can provide those supportive services quicker. And so we're already talking to some of them about some of the classes that we can go into to do that. That will be an outreach, because once the kids see Callie and any other staff that come in, they can say, oh yeah, so in the middle of the night, if I'm having a crisis, oh yeah, I remember her. She came in and talked about, skills, or she came in and talked about suicide prevention or whatever. So they start to realize and put a face to. So again, that'll be the plan.
Where do you get your training?
Depends on the topic. We have 5 QPR trainers, suicide prevention trainers. We had to take a 10-hour training and then keep that certified. Human trafficking curriculum, we're certified to the state, and again, that's another curriculum that we get certified to train. Youth curriculum and adult curriculum. So it just really depends on what curriculum we have.
How do you work alongside the sheriff's department and that kind of?
That we are working, we in Huntington and in Wabash County, we've worked very closely with the sheriff's department. We work very closely in Wabash with the juvenile detention alternative. We are actually in their chain. So if the juvenile detention, they actually go to a situation and they don't score high enough to where probation needs to be called, or that law enforcement needs to really do anything, that on their chain of actions, they contact us. So that our Safe Place people go out, assess the situation, what do we need to do, can we mediate, because within our organization, we can do conflict mediation, we can do parenting, we can make community resources. And so I would assume we're just now starting that conversation in Whitley County. I met with them at our last advisory group 2 weeks ago. So, but again, we work very closely because especially since it's runaway prevention, we know that law enforcement has their own rules that they have to deal with. So does probation, so does DCS, so does Bowen Center. So how do we work through that to ensure that that kid is being helped? One of the nice things, if we get involved, then we have there's this neutral person that can walk alongside. So if like law enforcement, when they called, there was nothing they could do. The kid wasn't breaking the law, grandparents weren't breaking the law, they had just had each other. It was at midnight, they had just sick of each other. So what could we do? So we then can come in and help mediate, we can do some respite care, we can provide other services, and keep all of those powers to be involved in what's going on. So again, by us getting involved, we then can do the follow-up and help be that neutral to guide that youth and that family through whatever system that they may have.
Do you actually go on site then? Okay.
That'd be Callie.
Yeah.
So, yes. They're also suicide assessment trained. We do the Columbia rating scale that Bowen Center and Huntington's trained all of our staff to do. So again, we're still working out what will that look like in Whitley County with your juvenile detention? What does that look like with your sheriff's department? What does that look like with your police department? Again, that was one of the things we're just now trying to, and the feeling from the advisory group was we need to get a call or two and see how this works. See where are some of our unanswered questions, where are some of our gray areas that we need to do. So we just have years of experience doing it. So, other thoughts, comments? If I go to one of your county buildings, can I say that you're supportive of this?
We have a motion.
It would still be up to your individual building. I'll like say, if I go down to the jail and they say, you know what, we don't want to, that's fine. If they say, yes, we're willing to, what does that mean? Then I need to just be able to say, this has been okay. Each of the sites still have their right to say, no, you know what, we don't. Fire department still has theirs to say, no, we don't. So each of the individual buildings still have their right to say no, but oftentimes what they say is, have we gotten permission? So.
Have you talked to any of the city's elected officials?
Talked to the mayor, he's on board. And we have, at our first advisory board, we had law enforcement, and then we did not at the last one, but we did have probation involved. Judge is in favor. I met him before he even came to the county to start talking to people. The judge is on board, the mayor's on board. So,
Art, Jason, do you have anything to add to that?
Not at this time, no, I'm willing to talk with them.
Rick?
Any of our buildings are only 8 AM to 4:30 PM.
Yep, we're aware of that, and that's why the sign, again, in 95 when I started, that was a bigger issue. But again, now that we have a number on the, if this facility is closed, dial, and then they call directly, we have staff on call 24/7. We actually have 3 staff on call 24/7. So,
Yeah, how, you can't not be supportive of this, of your services. I guess you're taking us a little off guard because I didn't,
right. And
Hadn't heard of this
I will
before.
gladly come back at a different time, or if you guys want to, that's why we left you the information. I wanted you to have something that you could also talk to, you know, DCS, you can talk to Bowen, you can talk to the superintendent, you can call our commissioners, Larry Buzzard, you can, you know, whatever you feel comfortable doing, that's fine. And we can hold off on the county buildings, we'll work on the other ones until I hear back from you, or Callie hears back from you,
Okay.
so that's fine.
I would make a motion that we table it.
Okay. You got a motion to table?
second,
Got a second? Further discussion? I think we just need some time to
That's
talk to
completely
our
understandable.
officials.
I've lived and
and
breathed this for a long time,
Yep.
that's fine.
Okay.
yeah, don't quit on us, but
No, trust me.
come back again.
After almost 24 years of doing this, I think I would have quit by now.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, claims.
I'd make a motion we approve the payroll claims.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve payroll claims. We've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same.
And with regard to the accounts payable claims, I just didn't see anything unusual to report, sorry.
That's good.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, we've got a second to approve general claims. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand, opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, you've got the minutes in front of you. Any amendments, changes, questions?
Move to approve them as written.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the minutes as presented. We've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Do you want us to do anything with longevity?
It was just informational.
Thank you. Okay, Janet presented us with the accounts payable schedule, and you've got that plus the payroll schedule date. That's for our information. And then the holiday schedule.
Sorry, those are to be approved. The longevity was just for your
Okay.
information.
I'd make a motion we approve the accounts payable schedule.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve accounts payable schedule. We've got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
With regard to the payroll schedule, we are definitely back to 26 pays, right?
Yes.
And there will be adjustments to people's checks. Did we not adjust for 27 pays this year?
Well, yeah. So, yeah, it'll just be their biweekly pay multiplied by 26 instead of 27.
Okay. Okay.
Are you going to present to council the 2 times a month presentation? Was it for the pay schedule? What was it, 15th and 30th? Is that what we're going to
Need a
do?
motion on this?
I'm not familiar with what you're.
Yeah.
Will we approve the payroll
Second.
schedule?
Got a motion to approve the payroll schedule. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Then we've got the holiday schedule.
Will we approve it with the extra day at Thanksgiving?
Okay, that would
After
be-
Thanksgiving?
4th of July.
Fourth,
Yeah,
oh,
4th of
I'm
July.
sorry.
Yep.
4th of July.
Yeah.
Wrong holiday.
So we've got Thursday, July 4th that we've got off, and we're requesting July 4th, and the Friday, July 5th for the July 4th holiday.
So for the general public, we're not adding a holiday. It's just that we don't have election days next year because it's municipal elections, so we're not giving an extra holiday. In fact, we're down one. So,
Okay, any further discussions? All those,
did you get a motion? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
we had the motion, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Did you second it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Or 5th, I don't know.
Okay, next we have the meeting schedule for the county council for your information. And then you've got the Board of Commissioners meeting schedule for 2019 also.
We need 2 motions.
Well, we'll need a motion for the.
We don't need a motion
We don't
for
need
the
for the
council.
council, just for the commissioners.
Will we approve the commissioners' meeting schedule?
Okay, we've got a
Second.
motion to approve the meeting schedule for the Board of Commissioners as presented. We have a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we got through all those.
Did we do longevity?
I don't think we have to do anything with the longevity.
Do you guys usually approve that? I mean, you can.
There's only a
'Cause
date,
it's-
all right? I mean, we know we're gonna do longevity, and it's budgeted. The only thing I thought was the date. That's fine.
Okay, do you guys want to give a favorable pass to council for that then? I think it was either the,
Yeah, I think I'll make a motion that we give a favorable pass to council to be paid on November 20th.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the 2018 longevity payment to November 20th, and that will be for a favorable pass to the county council. We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
yeah, do it council too.
Angie?
Okay, we have 2 new requests to use county facilities and then the one that was previously tabled. So I'll do the 2 new ones first. The first one is another request to use the gazebo for a wedding on October 20th at 2:30 PM. Just ceremony only.
No electric, anything like that?
They didn't request any, so I'm assuming no.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve. We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Veterans Marathon, annual event, November 10th. They're requesting to use the courthouse square, I guess just for what they normally do, sponsor tents, soup tents, staging of the 3 different races. They're requesting to use it from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Three Rivers Running Company is the one that's actually submitting the request.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve. We got a second. Discussion. Did Mark Sturdivant get to take a look at that then? And
I didn't do the Veterans Marathon one.
okay,
Yes, and
okay.
they said it was the same as it's been for the past 9 years, so.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Okay, you guys had tabled the request to use the courthouse for on December 15th from 1 to 5 as part of the Columbia City Main Street Association's Christmas event. Some of the concerns were cleanup of the courthouse, security cost of the courthouse, and if there would be fees involved in the photo ops for the family. Which the answer to that is no, that is free. The photographer has donated her time and she'll just be downloading photos onto her Facebook site and I don't know if people can actually print them from there or if it's just a promotional family photos, then they'll be on the Facebook,
But we'll still have the expense of having to provide a security guard and cleanup.
Correct.
How many floors are they gonna use?
All of them.
So we're gonna have to have security on every floor, do the ports and everything.
No, I think just the first one, really.
Yeah.
I talked to, I'm on the Main Street Board, and
Yeah.
we fleshed that out a little bit, and this is something that we're doing in collaboration with another organization, with the Farmers Mutual Insurance Company, and when I raised those questions at our board meeting of security and Mark's concerns about cleanup and everything, from Main Street's perspective, they're okay with you just saying no. Because it's too much to ask of everyone else, and we aren't gonna have the volunteers to make it so that everybody else is gonna have to do it. I know that the co-sponsor still would like to be able to do it, and ultimately they've got all kinds of activities going on, and I just think it's too much, though, frankly.
Yeah, I just haven't been comfortable with it. I'd make a motion that we disapprove the request.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion to deny. We've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
I'm gonna sign it and then I'll let you legally the one reason why.
Oh, I guess she's got the original.
Okay. Back in. I just realized I made a mistake by participating in the minutes. I was not here.
That's right.
I apologize. I don't know how you deal with that, but all of a sudden it dawned on me, I wasn't here for the meeting.
How do you participate, huh?
I
Do we need
didn't
another vote
participate.
on that?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
It's probably not a bad idea, because you made the motion to approve them, didn't you?
I may have.
No, Tom did. So just amend it?
Okay.
nothing.
Okay, let's revote the minutes as
Move.
presented.
Move we approve them as written.
You got a motion to approve as written. I'll second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Abstain.
You did good.
Don't oppose it, I just abstained it. Man, all of a sudden it hit me. Shoot, I wasn't here. Oh, I was in the building. Oh, no, I was at Peabody.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't even here.
You know, we began our update of our job classification project. Wagner, Irwin, Shealy will be back on site Wednesday, September 26th, to meet with the remaining department heads that they were unable to meet with on August 27th. Just wanted to let you know that they'll be back. It's exciting.
What's the temperature of how it's gone so far?
I will say that she said that typically when they do these updates, that wages are always the top concern of department heads and elected officials when they meet with them for their one-on-one department interviews. And that they were surprised that the concerns were, most departments wanted updated job descriptions, and they wanted a procedure in place to follow if they ever needed to update them in the future, that they didn't know what to do. There were no steps to follow. And so those were the main two concerns.
I
that
think
they
that's
had.
what we want.
Yes.
We just want some kind of guideline.
Yeah, so it went much smoother because, so the time frame
Okay.
that they spent was much less than what they had anticipated because they were expecting there to be a lot of concerns and issues, and what they were expecting was not what they got. So,
Good. Okay.
so other than that, I'm just excited.
Thank you. Matt, did you have anything for? Nope. Jana?
I just had those schedules for you, so.
Commissioner?
Can't think of anything.
Commissioner?
No, sir.
The only thing I have is that Deo Stone and Associates, the appraisal for our facilities. I'll present that to council again tomorrow.
Oh.
See what happens.
Do you need a favorable pass?
We did
I think
once,
we did.
didn't we?
We already
We did.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
okay. Do you have any idea if they've come up with anything different?
No, I've
We
talked to
have
our
chance.
insurance agent, and he's explained, just like we said, why that we have to pay for that. But I'll just present it and let them know. And
One way or another, it's gotta be done.
it's got to be done. In talking to the library,
We can get our insurance agent to pay it, but guess who's
Yeah.
got, guess when that invoice comes in?
and that's
That's
but
reality.
it's better for us to provide
It's
the
reality.
facility appraisal than them, because that way we feel comfortable with it. Any thoughts on that?
No, that's true. I mean, that way, assuming that you're comfortable with having actual appraisals back, or this is just
No,
engaging.
I just have to get an approval for them to start on it, and they're ready to go at any time.
How long has it been, again, since you had it appraised? It's been a while, right?
Has to be in 2010, maybe?
It's
It's been a while.
been, I have a vague remembrance, but that's all. I don't,
Yeah, it's-
yeah. I remember being told we have to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the issue is if you don't do it, and there's a gap between the value and
yeah.
the catastrophic loss, then you're gonna be short, and that's the
Yeah.
reason for the.
Yep. Yep. So I didn't mention, but I think I'll say something real quick, because I don't know if Lana keeps you guys in the loop or not, but the regional sewer district, we are pretty darn close to having our charter. Pretty darn close.
I was wondering about that.
That's the good news. The bad news is then we we'll have people coming in that don't want it done. So if you want to come to our meetings, you feel free to come. So,
Is that wouldn't be any different than the planning commission?
it's almost the same thing, yeah.
So you've already got projects started on that though, right, or in the process, once you get the charter?
We have projects selected, but we can't vote on them.
Okay.
We have no voting power. We don't even have a president, we don't have a structure, because we can't vote on anything, because we're not officially a board. So, once the charter comes, then we can do that kind of stuff, so. Right now, Lana does everything.
Okay. Anything from the public? Stan?
Stanley!
I'm not going to try to put years on this because people wouldn't believe it anyway, given that I'm 130. But in all the time that I taught and drove from Whitley County over into Allen, if I wanted, well, on my way to work, I would take 900 to County Line going east and turn and make the trip on in. Because the right turn always was okay. But if I wanted to turn left, I'd go up to at least 800.
Yeah.
Or clear to 14, depending on where I was going. I have really had pleasure using that intersection with the roundabout in it. And I really wanted to say this. I was going to pop a hand up in the air and try to say this while Brandon was still here, so I hope that it can be given on to him and even into Whitley County. Or I don't mean Whitley County, Allen County, for whomever put the idea together to make that the way to make that more usable, because that has taken that intersection and ironed it out and made it much more usable, much safer. Guarded on safer, and I'll tell you why in a second, but I mean, you go there now, and if you want to turn right, you turn right. You want to turn left, it works. You can turn left, it's much quicker through it. And from I've purposefully driven out on it from every direction when I've been coming from somewhere, and it really is set up and works beautifully.
Stanley, are you aware that we've never been notified it was open?
No, I'm not aware of that. No, I'm not aware of that.
No, that's why I'm sitting here going, oh, wow, this is so cool, but.
Well, it's been open now for about 3 weeks, I guess.
Wow.
2.5 anyway. But my wife and I would ride our bikes down there and check it out every so often. But it is just, it's terrific. As I say, it's a guarded statement on safer. And this is nothing that the traffic planners, that the people that laid it out, there's nothing they could do to prevent what I have seen. And I am just talking about from as a single individual and driving through there when I do. But it's almost like it has made it to where people are running it way faster than they should be. But it's labeled all over the place. I mean, 15 miles an hour and so on. It's set up the way it ought to be. But it's terrific. It has really done that intersection a lot of good.
Appreciate you telling us that it's open.
But I'm concerned, I guess. I'm concerned that everybody would watch very carefully, because I'm afraid somebody's going to breeze through there and smack somebody just because they aren't following the rules like they ought to be. I was going through there last Friday night, and I purposefully drove out on 14, got on County Line, and came up to use it from that direction. And I slowed down to what it's supposed to be. I kind of like to approach it at, say, maybe 20 and get down to the 15 to go through. That's what it's supposed to be, and went through it. And I went on I hadn't any more than got out of it, and somebody was so dissatisfied with me, I guess, following the rules, that I hadn't any more than been out of it, and they passed me on the double yellow just south of it. Now, that's a little ridiculous, and that's an especially bad place if you do a thing like that, because nobody can see anything. So I'm a little, but that's not your responsibility, and that isn't anything you guys could do anything about, nor the planners or anybody else. And I'm not blaming anybody, I'm just saying that, from my point of view, it's terrific.
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Can you get farm equipment through that?
Oh, I believe so.
Okay, all right. That was kind of a concern that,
Yeah.
it's still a farm community down there.
Yeah,
And,
I think you can. First of all, it's fairly wide pavement in the circle.
Yep.
And then as you come up to it, they've done a pretty good job on setting things back from the edge of the road to the point where even if you came up with a piece of implement and had to pull over, you'd have room to do it. There's one set of what looks like gas valves and things that are sticking up, but I even think those are far enough back that they wouldn't generate a problem.
They were supposed to have been moved. That's part of that NIPSCO project, and I hope they were moved, but.
Yeah.
The other couple of points I wanted to make was, so it's there. When I came on board 12 years ago, okay, the study and the design had already been done. And of course, it comes to us because it's our road. In case you don't know it, every county's responsible for their east and south county roads. Well, we're very fortunate because our South County road's 114. So WinDOT takes care of that, but that's our road. Well, when they show us this millions of dollar project, hey, we can't. Whitley County invested a tick over of $100,000 in that whole project, and they let us pay that over 3 years. And then we forgot a payment for 5 or 6, didn't we? So, yeah, and the other thing was, I went to an ice cream social at the Saturn Church not too long ago. A couple weeks ago, I'd have driven down there in a heartbeat to see it. I can't wait to see it, so, okay.
Well, and then at night, they've got lights up, it's well lighted at night.
Is that right?
It is, it really has made a terrific change.
Well, I can't wait to see
in
it.
that. And for people that live out there and go into, what we used to call Times Corners, or now it's not got that name exactly, but, go that route or go to church in that direction or whatever.
Sure.
And that's one of the main travel.
Go to the school.
One of the main travel directions that we do. My wife and I, we have really appreciated it, and we didn't have a problem while it was closed. We know the area so well that we could just pick how we wanted to go for where we wanted to go. But now that it's open, boy, is it ever.
But you're right about, if you're on 900 and you want to go north, that was like super dangerous. You just.
Oh, you just didn't
You
go
had to,
north.
you just didn't, yeah. Yeah.
That was just how you ran your life.
Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate the report, and I'm sorry to report to you that nobody told us. Obviously, if there was a ribbon cutting ceremonies, we weren't there, so.
I think the only thing that happened was that a turkey got smacked or something, and maybe that's how it celebrated the opening.
There you go. Well, thank you.
But it is special.
Good. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it.
Okay, at this point, we'll adjourn.
What are you gonna do with your trophy?
Well,